they work on what they know, but it's only human knowledge, and they're practicing medicine, which means they're practicing. And not to knock the world, because I've had to use this already, but I wanted to share that with you because about 7-8 years ago, I had a stroke. And I woke up one morning and I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know a toothbrush from a comb. I couldn't read. I didn't know what was wrong with me. And we went to the hospital, and everything's kind of a blur. I don't remember everything, but I went and didn't know anything, and went in there, and they said, oh, they sent me home, and I called I don't know why I called my cousin, but God led me to call my cousin. She says, Pam, you had a stroke. You need to get back in that emergency room very quickly. So I went in there, and I was like, man, God, you know, I didn't know what to do. I didn't even know really cry out to God at that point. I didn't know a whole lot. I was like 3 fries short of 65 Happy Meals, I can tell you. It was like my mind just didn't want to do anything. That's kind of, and I didn't even know to be scared. I didn't know. I mean, I was scared, but yet I didn't know what was going on, and a spirit of fear hit me. I was like, wow. And I didn't know what to do, and my kids kind of didn't know what to do, and I went into the hospital, and you know, they did what they could for me and everything like that, and they put me in a rehab. I lived like a senior citizen for 6 weeks. Wow. Can I tell you a story? I would never wish that place on my worst enemy. You've never been anywhere where I am serious. It's like I had a spirit of fear like you wouldn't believe. I was so scared because I couldn't read. I didn't know if they were giving me the right medicines, and I was with all these seniors, and I had to, they said, I went to walk, and they go, no, 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 and I said, what? They said, no, you can't walk. I'm like, really? You can't? And the right side of my body, I kind of couldn't walk right, and they put me in, made me run a wheelchair, which I am not a wheelchair runner, I can tell you that. I kept cutting my hands, and it was like a world I just wasn't used to. I didn't know what to do, and my family kind of dropped me off, and they had to leave. And so I'm in this place, and I'm waiting until 9 o'clock at night. Finally, they got me in a room. They said, you're going to have to run a wheelchair. Even I couldn't go to the bathroom by myself. They were treating me like a senior citizen in one of these nursing homes. Like, it was like I was really, a spirit of fear had hit me. I was afraid. And at that point, I really didn't know what to do. I didn't really know. My mind just wasn't quite there. And I was running a ministry. I was doing Operation Community Care in Littlestown, and the head of the ministry is in somewhere and don't know a toothbrush and a comb. I thought, this is good, you know. But at that point, things kind of just fell apart in my life, and I was like, wow, you know. And they put me in this place, and I could only concentrate on one thing at a time. I couldn't concentrate on more than one. It was like a very scary feeling. It's a very scary feeling, but I was really afraid. And I could walk. I had to really concentrate to walk a straight line. They sent me down. Finally, they decided maybe I didn't need somebody to lead me, so they left me walk by myself somewhere, and on the way back, I got lost. I was lost in the building. I didn't know where I was. I was like walking around. I was in this building where if I went now, I could find my way out of there, but I didn't know. And I was trying to, they gave me this little kid's puzzle to do and put together. I couldn't put it together. And I was trying to concentrate, and these two ladies were discussing their latest shopping things, and my mind couldn't concentrate on one thing at a time. And I was like, ma'am, you gotta stop. You can't talk. I can't concentrate on what you're doing. I couldn't put a little kid's puzzle together. I was like, wow. You know, I didn't really know how bad I was. My kids probably can tell you, you know, but I didn't. And finally I went home. And praise God, I had come to this church years ago and found out to hide the word God in your heart. And I'm telling you something, you have to have that word, because when you're alone in a room somewhere and you don't know what to do, you have got to reach out to him. He's a very present help in trouble. And let me tell you something, I had such a spirit of fear, And so one day I was watching, and Creflo Dollar come on. He says, he says, you got to be in the Word till where you have more word than problem. So I started saying, okay, I put on the Word from the time I got up in the morning till I went to bed at night. Next day, same thing. And I said, God, I don't know what to do to get out of this hole. God started showing me. One day, something I'd never seen and never seen again came on the TV, and this woman said, drop all sugar from your diet. Well, I immediately, I dropped it. I dropped all sugar, and something else said, exercise, walk. And so I would walk. And at that point, I couldn't drive or do anything like that, so I walked everywhere. And I would get claustrophobic. I'd be afraid. Spirits of fear would come at me and try to hit me. But you know what? I kept going to the Word and going to the Word and going to the Word and going to the Word. And I was driving at that point, my son and daughter-in-law were living with me. I was driving them up a tree because I'd listen to the same thing over and over again. And I would just listen to it in the Word, but the Word started renewing my mind. And the Word started bringing me out of it, and the spirit of fear started going. Because if any of you have ever had a spirit of fear, that's real. That is scary. I mean, it almost can just make you not even be able to move. And it was like so awesome how God just slowly started moving me. Because to be honest with you, it was my fault. I opened the door for the devil to be where I was, because I weighed almost 300 pounds. So when I started walking and started doing what God told me to do and started eating right and eating what God wants you to eat, I'm telling you something, I started losing weight. It didn't dawn on me until a year after that, because of the way my mind was. I lost 130 pounds. I lost a person. So if anybody here weighs 130 pounds, I lost you. I lost you, It was like amazing. But God taught me. He would show me, bring different people in my life. They would show me how to eat, what to do. I would walk. I hated staying home, but I wasn't allowed to drive yet, so I would walk. I'd walk to towns nearby. I'd walk everywhere I could. I'd put the Word on. I would just keep in the Word and keep in the Word and keep in the Word, and the Word will not return void. At first I could only concentrate on one thing, and then it worked up to where I could concentrate on more than one thing. Now I can back to multitasking. But God is a rewarder of them who diligently seek Him. If you are in trouble, you had better reach out to Him. You better get into that Word, and you better pour yourself into that, because that's what's going to get you out of the hole you're in. Any kind of hole you're in, He says He will pull you out. I'm telling you, and He will. I'm telling you, when I had to go in and sit down, and my grandkids were helping me with my alphabet, okay? I had little kindergarten and first graders helping me learn the alphabet again. I mean, I had trouble with, I could get the capital letters, but it was the little letters. I got mixed up. I mean, really, it was like, I have a new respect for senior citizens. I honestly do. Anyone in a nursing home, let me tell you what, I have a real respect for, a real respect. I lived like them for a while, and it was not fun. Like I said, I had to, first they went in a wheelchair, then you graduate from the wheelchair to getting to walk, and it's like it's not your life when you're in that nursing home. You are at their mercy. But God pulled me out of it. And when I went back into the ministry that I was in charge of, it was a little bit of a heyday, because, when the cat's away, there's lots of everyone, everyone thinks they know what's going on, but I had to work through that battle, get back into that. But God brought me through. He showed me how to eat, how to walk, and the biggest thing it hit me was, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They could have had the best foods to eat. They could have the richest foods to eat. But you know what? They chose to eat the way God said to take care of their body. And one thing I'd love to tell anybody today, please take care of your body. I would not wish it on my worst enemy what happened to me. Please ask God how to eat, because I can tell you right now, I don't eat. I eat, God's way now. I really do. And I'm just telling you, if you're out there today and you are having a health issue, look at what you're eating. Go back to what God's word tells you to eat, to get yourself back into where you need to be. Exercise. Try and get yourself back into where, God wants us to take care of our bodies. I went back into the ministry, and we have Bethel Assembly of God in Littlestown. We do a food pantry. Miraculous. I mean, you have no idea. I mean, God started that, and wow. They threw the keys at me. They bought a truck, threw the keys, and said, swing wide. I had to go to Harrisburg and drive. I backed across 4 lanes of traffic down from the farm show. And that's when I learned my biggest lesson, I'd have to say, and really, really, really hearing from God, because I was scared. I'm like, God, I don't know what to do. I'm so scared. There's cars coming. I mean, what am I going to do? And it's like God would just put it in my mind. He'd say, back this way and do this, do that. God will tell you how to drive. I was like, this is cool. One day this one guy goes, can you take these trays back to this one place? It's right down the street. To be honest with you, once I got there, I probably could have did that man in, because where he took me was I had to back down, and there was only a blinking light to try to back down into. I was like, God, I don't know what to do, and I am really scared. And you know what? He says, Pam, just do this. And I was like, yay, God. God taught me to drive a truck. People can think I'm so, crazy, but I am serious. He would tell me. I would go into towns. I was driving all over the place. I was driving in Harrisburg. I was driving in York. I was back in places you wouldn't believe. I was a mom. I have 6 kids. I was a homeschool mom. I wasn't taught to drive a truck, but God taught me. He'll teach you anything you need to know. That is so cool. I'm still thinking, like, God, you are so cool. Yeah, it was a big truck. We held 10 skids. It wasn't a little truck. It was a big truck, Not saying I never scraped the side one time against the telephone pole at my house. I did do that. But, yeah, wow, But let me tell you, God is so cool. Because let me share some things with you that God has done. And I've learned so much from him. We don't have because we don't ask. And the thing is, now the one thing is that you have to be in line with God when you're asking. Because one thing is, you have to be serving God with all your heart, your soul, your mind. You can't be out living like 3 fries short of 65 Happy Meals and think God's going to come in and just pick you up every time. You got to be sincere. When you want to be right with God, you want to be right with God. You want to serve God, you want to serve God. You don't want to go off on your own little tangent and you want to be serious. And when you're serious, then he can use you. One day I was telling God, I said, God, I said, we really could use chicken. And Lord, I don't just want any chicken. I want deboneless, skinless, organic chicken breast. So I just, I just said, I just told God that. Can I tell you what? I had a phone call on the phone within a couple days. This one ministry says, hey, would you like 7 skids of deboneless, skinless, organic chicken breast? I said, yay, God. That's the kind of God we serve. He said, we can have what we say. We can ask anything, and he can do it. And we had chicken to give our people. Because, see, one of the biggest things any ministry or food pantry or anywhere will tell you, meat is your toughie. Meat is the tough one. Another time, I said, God, I said, wouldn't it be cool? I said, couldn't we have some organic from the wild salmon? I thought, ooh, salmon's good. It's very healthy, very good for you, though, So all them omegas, and so I get this phone call from this lady, and we had the food pantry running that night. Now notice God's timing. Our food pantry was open. We were running people through. I get a phone call from a lady, and she's from this company, major company, and she goes, "We have some salmon we'd like to give you." She said, "But the problem is the guy that is the trucker the guy is done working for the day." I said, "I have his home phone." I said, "I have his cell number. I will call him for you." He said, "Pam," he said, "Well, I'll do it tomorrow to go." I said, "No, no, no, you don't understand." I said, "This lady says this has to happen now or they're throwing it away." And I said, "My truck is going in to be inspected next week." I said, "This has to happen." And you know what? God worked it all out. I mean, his timing was just amazes me. We emptied the freezers. I said, we were open so we could do this. I said, just give everything away. Get everything in the freezers, empty it out. We emptied the freezers. When I was supposed to get 6 skids, okay? 6 skids of organic chicken, a fish. Wow. I called Pastor Mike on the phone and said, "Hey, what are you doing?" I said, "I just got this truck in." And I said, those people couldn't count because my truck was filled. Now it holds 10 skids from the front to the back, floor to the ceiling, double skids the whole way. There were 20 skids on that truck, and only 2 of them weren't that fish. When you ask for something, be ready, because he's going to pour out a blessing you can't hold, and we couldn't hold it all. So I'm calling everybody I can call. I called Pastor Mike and said, "Get down here and get your truck. Bring it down here." We were loading everybody up. We filled every freezer full with this fish. And it was like, wow, God, you are cool. He's cool. Yeah. Yeah. It was like unreal. It was just like, wow. And then another instance where God just really moved was, and I didn't even know, God will take care of you when you don't even know you need taken care of sometimes. I knew my car wasn't in that great a shape because my one son kept telling me about it, but I ignore things like that. I'm too busy doing things for God. I don't have time to worry about a vehicle. It's leaking, it's doing all these things, just dump some more oil and it leaks. Well, this lady comes up to me at the building and she goes, "I noticed your vehicle's leaking all over the place out there." I said, "Yeah, it is." And I just kind of shrugged it off. I said, "Oh, well," I said, "God will take care of it." I didn't know this lady, we've been helping this one ministry for a while, and this lady, I didn't know anything really about them. They were, I really didn't know. And she came up to me and she says, "We want to buy you a vehicle." I'm like, okay. Like, no one had ever walked up to me and said to me, "I want to buy you a vehicle." I'm like, seriously? Okay. And at first I was going to refuse it. My son goes, "Mom, your vehicle is like dying. It's like any day now. You need this vehicle." So I really was embarrassed. I really felt like, oh my gosh, I hated it. I like to be the doer, not the getter, and to an extent. And yeah, boy. And they went out and bought me. They went out and got me this vehicle, and it's a Honda, and I'm not even sure what it is, but it's a Honda van. And I was telling these people, the people go, "Honda, that's a wonderful vehicle." I don't know one from another. As long as it has a vehicle, as long as you get in and you put the keys in it and drive, that's what I know, But he bought me this wonderful van. I mean, the grandkids, what the grandkids were excited about? It had a TV in it. I didn't know. They have TVs in vans now. I'm like, seriously. But they're wonderful because they keep the grandkids busy and everybody stays quiet while you're traveling. But, what God does is amazing. Finances, how many out there have financial needs? Let me tell you about God. He's got that covered too. There would be days I would go to at the end of the month, I'm waiting for a check to come for the next month, and I would need gas and I wouldn't have enough. Can I tell you a story? People would walk in. I am serious. You can think I'm crazy, but people would walk in and come up to me and go, "Hell, God told me to give you this 20." And I'd have enough gas to get me through till I needed it again. Another day, a guy walked in and I needed $100. I thought, well, God, this is a toughie for you. God, nothing is too hard for your God. And it was so amazing. this guy just comes running in the door, the back door, and he goes, here, God told me to give you this. He hands me an envelope, and he runs back out the door. I'm like, all right. And so I didn't have time at that particular time, and I just shoved it in my pocket. And later on, it hit me. Oh, I didn't look what was in that envelope. And I opened it up. It was a $100 bill. The $100 I needed. I was like, okay, God, you are on. You will make somebody run in off the street, hand you the 100, and then leave. And this guy is so cool because he said to me, you know, he says, God told me to bring that to you. And he had to be somewhere, but he knew in his heart that God said, I got to get this to this woman. You know, God impressed it upon him. Another time, and there's so many times when I got the vehicle, the vehicle was awesome, but the one thing about it was the insurance went up $100 because of the type vehicle was. I'm like, God, where am I getting $100 extra for the insurance? So, wow, he's got it covered. People walk in and they would walk up and hand. This one guy would, the 1 month I didn't have quite enough. He walked in, handed me $100. I was like, seriously? He said, he was a minister, and he said, well, these people gave me money, and he says, I'm splitting it with you. You cannot outdo this God. He wants to meet your needs. Don't try and figure out how he's going to do it, because I've tried that. It doesn't work. Because he'll always use a person, he'll use a way, but he's a rewarder of them who diligently seek him. If you're diligently seeking him, if you're seeking him with all your heart, your soul, your might, he is going to meet your needs. I'm telling you, he is. If you have a physical need, he's going to meet it. If you're in a hospital somewhere right now and you need to get out, you need to pray. You need to reach out to God. He's going to get you out of there. You need to ask God how to eat. You need to say, what's in my life that's causing me to be sick? Is there something I'm doing that I can change in my life? Is there a way I can quit eating things? Because I can tell you something, God will take care of you, but we got to take care of ourselves too, you know, and that's so important. But all I can tell you is, wow. And so then I said, okay, God, that covers it. But, you know, God, it'd be so cool. It'd be nice. I need about $100 extra a month. And I'm like, God, what am I going to do? Can I tell you a story? Don't ever ask him. You cannot outguess him, outthink how he's going to do it. This pastor walks into me and says, our church is going to give you $100 a month. I'm like, seriously? He said, seriously. Yay, God. I'm telling you, it's like, I get so excited because I never know what he's going to do that day. I never know what he's going to send. If I even, it's like, you don't want to say you're afraid to think, but if I think something, and I'm thinking of some sort of food that we need in the pantry, I'll just think it and he sends it. I'm like, wow, we need meat? I'm not kidding you. I went out one day, okay, you can think I'm crazy, but this is what I did. I go outside my house. If anyone ever goes by, I don't care. I walk outside my house, and I'll say, when I'm looking for something to come in, I say, Father, I walk outside, and I look. I said, I said, from the north, I command this money to come in from the north, the south, the east, and the west. Can I tell you how many times the 1 week that I was praying for meat, it came in from the north, the south, and the east, and the west, for all those different sides, because it came from all different ministries, from all these different places. I am not, we get from this one major company, and I'm not allowed to say who they are, but it's a major company. All the kids love them. And we only ever received, it was like paper products and stuff like that from them. And one day they called me on the phone to go, and I was praying. I said, God, we need potatoes. You know, that's a staple for people. They need at the food pantry, we need potatoes. And in my mind, I'm thinking potatoes, you know, the nice little potatoes, but they rot. And we would get those, and we did. I would pray, and we would get potatoes in, all right. We'd get skids of them in. But the problem is they rot. And I'm saying, well, God, what are we going to do through the winter months? He's got that covered, okay? Don't ever think you're going to outguess him, because how does he answer that? I get this phone call from this company. They've never, ever, ever given us anything like this before. They go, would you like skids of French fries? I'm like, oh God, that's potatoes. Okay, you had that covered because you can keep those in the freezer. So how are you going to keep the potatoes in the freezer? Yay, God. We have potatoes all the time now. I prayed and I said, God, okay, we need more meat, but I'm a little bit picky. I said, God, can we have some, organic meat? And I had this, the Holy Spirit told me that we had gotten ham in from this one ministry one day, and he said, you call that ministry and ask them why you're not getting ham anymore. So I boldly called this ministry and nicely talked to the guy and said, hey, I said, one time you brought me this turkey ham, and I said, I was just kind of curious. I said, we haven't seen any. He says, that's because we get that on Tuesdays. He said, we come to you on Mondays. I said, can I switch? Can you come Tuesdays now? He said, sure. It was that simple. God told me to talk to him, and God worked it out. Now every week, once in a while it skips, but pretty much every week we are getting organic turkey, the turkey ham, and regular bacon. We are getting it almost like every week. It's like, wow. He will direct your paths. He will guide your ways. If you don't know something, ask him, because guess what? He's way smarter than me. Because even though I can get up here and talk to you, I can forget something. I can walk from here to there and forget what I was going to say. And God's still working on restoring me. I still need some restoration work. But you know what's cool? He thinks for me. And believe me, it's a lot easier if he thinks for me. Because I could, I was like kind of afraid to get up because oh Lord, you know how my mind goes sometimes. And he goes, oh Pam, I got you covered. I said, yay God. And I can't tell you, wow, what he did. Like at Christmas, we do a huge Christmas program. And I said, God, you know what? I said, we do teenagers and nobody else wants to do teenagers. We do the kids up to age 18 because let's face it, you can go to Dollar Tree and get little toys for the kids and they'll be happy. But your teenager, come on. They got to go back to that high school and hear what everybody else is getting. So this year I said, before we'd been able to give out $25 gift cards, and I said, God, I really want to give those kids $50 gift cards. I really want to do that. And I said, but I don't know. And you know what? People started sending money into us, and I'm thinking we might have $300 in the account. When I went to the secretary and asked her how much money was in it, there was $700 in there. I was like, whoa, okay. I said, we're going shopping because not all the toys came in we need to. So I went out, and we have a major company that collects for us every year toys. But we went there and spent our money, and we spent about $1,200 on toys for kids this year. And what the coolest thing was is we went to that company and we said, well, look, you're a blessing to us. We want to bless you back. We're buying our stuff from you. And we went in, and for the first time ever, we could give the teenagers a $50 Walmart gift card. And I was like, so you have no idea. To some that doesn't seem like much, but to me, I was like, wow. Because I had 6 kids, and when my kids were growing up, I would stand in the line in Gettysburg, and we had to, at that time they weren't as organized, and we stood out in the street. If it snowed or rained or something that night, we would put tarps over our head and just sit out in the street till, be in line. And one year I had a preemie, and I couldn't get there till late. And you know what? When I got there was nothing left. I was the last one through the line. There was ratty books and ratty stuffed animals left. And I made up my mind that when we did our Christmas program, I was never going to have that happen to a family, ever. Never. And let me tell you what, it never has. God has taken care of that program. We've done that program, I think, at least 15 years. I'm not always good at keeping track of what you do and that kind of thing is, but where that's concerned in the years amount. But I'm telling you, he takes care of it. We don't have because we don't ask. I'm telling you, go after God with all your heart, your soul, your mind. And when you do, he's a rewarder of them who diligently seek him. I am telling you, he wants to meet your needs. But more than that, one of your biggest needs is him. You need him. Some people are out there wandering around. You know, you're lost. You're like, you're unhappy. You might be in a hospital bed right now and you don't know what to do and you're afraid and spirits of fear hit you. God doesn't give you a spirit of fear, but he gives you power. He gives you love. He gives you a sound mind. And I'm telling you now, if when you have a need, he's a very present help in trouble. We need to reach out to God. He's the answer. I'm telling you, he has met every need I've ever wanted. I didn't always live for God. When I was growing up, I wasn't living for God because my parents weren't Christians then. I didn't know. You know, we would go to church. It was a little thing to do on Sunday. We would make fun of people going to church sometimes. I didn't know till I accepted Christ as my Savior. But once I did, but I'm telling you, walk in the light. Don't walk in the darkness. Read the Word. He's a rewarder of them. What did I say? Diligently seeks him. You got to go after him. You got to go after him, and then he's going to pour. When you hide that word, you're going to know how to use the word. I'm telling you. And the biggest thing I can tell you is he's going to meet your needs. He's not going to let you down if you're seeking him, if you're going after him. And wow. I can tell you, I could go on. I wish I could remember everything he's done because he does things all the time. You know, the other day, this might seem like a crazy thing, but I was praying for, I'll pray for something, God just sends it. You know, not all of you would be excited about this, but I was praying for bottled aloe. You know, the plant, well, they take the plant and put the little stuff inside of it in a bottle, and that's really good for you. And I was praying for it. We haven't seen it in a long time. Guess what was in one of the totes I opened the other day? Oh, yeah. I'm telling you, he wants to meet your needs. He wants to give you the desires of your heart. I'm telling you, there's nothing like him. Nothing like serving him. You can't outdo him. He's there. And so, you know, I hope that I've helped someone out there. I hope that you can see that if you had a stroke, you can make it out of there. But look what put you there. You know, sometimes we open the door up for our own bodies by not taking care of them. And I did that. It was my fault where I was at. You know, I opened the door up. I really did. You know, I lost 130 pounds. I lost a person. And it didn't hit me till a year after I did it because my mind, it took a while for my mind to be restored. But, you know, he brought me back, and wow, there's nothing like him. And so I hope that if you have any questions, that you know, if you can't get on I'm not sure how Pastor Mike does it with the internet. Like I know that you can come here. He has services every night, every day actually, and you can come here and get prayed for. But if you're way out of the way from here and there's no way you're going to get in here, go find a good church somewhere. Find somewhere that somebody to agree with you in prayer. Find a church that believes in healing, that believes in praying with you. Find somebody to pray with. Find out, you know, get close to God. Because if you get close to God, he'll get close to you. And he'll think for you. Man, can I tell you how many times I can tell you every day? I can walk from here to there like I told you in the building. And I'll forget what I was going to go do. I'm not kidding you. I mean, my mind is, God tells me what to do. He runs me. That's what's so cool. He will do that. And he says he's not a respecter of persons. He's not going to just do it for me. He'll do it for you too. He wants to take care of you. He wants to love you. He wants to give you gifts. He wants to love on you. But you have to let him. You got to open up. You got to let him. And he'll be there. He doesn't let you down. I'm telling you, the world will let you down every time. And I'm not going to say that you know, it says many are the afflictions of the righteous. But you know what word I love? The but. But the Lord will deliver you out of them all. And he has delivered me out of so many things. I mean, wow. And I'm just telling you, if you're out there today and you think that you're backed against the wall and you can't get out of there, that's not true. Because the devil is a liar. He comes to steal, kill, and destroy. But God came that you could have life and life abundantly. And abundant life is abundant life. And let me tell you what, I don't want to see some of you wait till you're, I'm about a day or two shy of 58. And don't wait till you're older. Just learn now when you're young. Learn now, walk in it, because man, there's nothing like it. Every day is a new excitement. You never know what's going to happen next, but it's awesome. And living for him, there's nothing like it. Nothing. I would not want to trade it. I've lived in the world, and let me tell you what. They're searching for what I have. They're out there hitting their head against the wall. They're trying, drugs. They're trying alcohol. They're trying, everything that the world has, the newest hairstyle. They think everything's going to make them happy. It doesn't. There's nothing. God is the only way. And I just, I think that's all I have to say today. But, I just really, really am so thankful that you trusted me enough to get up here. And I thank God that he trusted me enough that he could speak through me today. Because, like I said, I could have as easily forgotten my train of thought. But God keeps you on track. And that's what's cool. So thank you again for allowing me to share with people. And I hope someone even out there in the internet system that needed to hear this today, it'll help them.